6:25 now. We want to go back to Baltimore for an update on that bridge collapse.
Searching for everyone that was potentially on the bridge. As you can imagine, it's the middle of the night. You know, what type of traffic was there? How many workers were there? Workers, they obviously come to a project, but other workers show up sometimes. So that's what we're investigating right now.
Is this unprecedented? Is there anything like this ever happened?
Not in Baltimore.
Sir, can you talk more about the workers on the bridge, what was going on, and how many vehicles you think might actually be in the water?
They were basically doing some concrete deck repair. We don't have the number of the vehicles.
Do we know who they work for?
I don't have that right offhand.
How long will the port be closed for the incident?
Too early to determine.
Are you still looking for 7 people?
A number of people. That's the one number that we've had, but obviously we're researching to see if anyone else was on that bridge.
Can you speak to some of the challenges, the drinking water, the currents, the darkness this morning as you were searching for individuals?
All of the above, to be frank. A very, very tough situation. 1 a.m. in the morning, very little information at the time. It happened instantaneously, as you've seen.
Sir, it's been a number of hours at this point. What can you tell family members who might be watching about any hope that you will still recover survivors?
We actually have set up a facility for any family members. We have mental health professionals there as well, so we're dealing with that.
And are you ruling out any kind of intentional motive?
We don't see anything that relates to that at this time. It's an open investigation, but there's nothing that points to that in any direction.
First calls after the incident come in directly from the ship. When the ship hit there, who were the first ones to make the 911 calls to kind of alert you?
I don't know. I don't have that information.
Do you have any indication whether the ship lost power?
It's too early.
Just for clarification,
Last
question, please. Port is closed except for trucks moving transport out.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll be back surely about 9:30. I'm sorry.
This bridge is built in the 19s. It took about 5 years to construct it, right? Any idea what we can expect moving forward? I mean, the bridge
Too early. Obviously, we reached out to a number of engineering companies, and so obviously we have a long road in front of us to get to that point. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, still in the early stages of this investigation into the bridge collapse that took place at the Francis Scott Key Bridge about 1:30 this morning. A boat hit that bridge and the bridge collapsed. Starting to flesh through some of the information in terms of the construction workers that were in that area. It was also a vessel ship possibly headed to Sri Lanka that hit that bridge. They're saying that they don't have any type of motive that they believe was behind this right now. We know that 2 people were rescued, one of those in serious condition, though.
The authorities also saying that apparently there was some concrete repair work that was being done on that bridge. They're still researching to see how many drivers were on the bridge at the time, as it still remains an active search and recovery effort at this time. Luckily, though, it's starting to get a little lighter down there, so visibility is improving.
That's right. They said anywhere between 7 and 20 people who could have gone into the water. Right now, there is a state of emergency that's been declared. As we give you some of the video of the moment that collapse took place, you can see when the bridge goes down here. And again, this was about 1:30 this morning. We're going to continue to follow up on this developing story there out of Baltimore, Maryland throughout the morning. Stay with us.